Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We're going to emphasize 7 key facts that I think every single man needs to understand about women, and 7 key facts that women as well need to understand about men. Let's begin with women. What do women need to know about understanding men? And inshallah ta'ala, the goal of this is that when you understand these 7 points, it will better your relationship, will help you understand what exactly a man needs, what is he craving for. So, point number 1 of these 7, perhaps the most important out of all of these 7, what a man really wants from his wife, most of all, is respect. And by respect, I mean that if a man earns the respect of his wife, if he feels that his wife looks up to him, he feels that he is an authority, he feels masculine, he feels as if he is in charge. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ, that men are qawwam over women. Men are the caretakers, the providers of women. And even modern psychologists fully understand this human characteristic. By respecting a man, a woman shows that he is her protector, that he is her guardian, her warrior, if you like. And therefore, by showing her respect to her husband, she brings out the best in a man. She extracts from him the love, the tenderness, the protection. And what woman wouldn't want her husband to love and protect her? So, the question therefore is, how exactly does a wife show respect to her husband? Obviously, she doesn't come and say, I respect you. That doesn't work that way. Respect is not it's not a speech. It's not a statement. Respect is an attitude. Respect is a mode of life. So I want to give you some examples and some specific details of how respect is shown. Number 1, respect his knowledge and judgment. By this I mean that when he makes a decision, don't second guess. Don't doubt his ability to make that decision. By doubting his ability to make a decision, you belittle him. You make him feel childish, that he's not intelligent, he's not qualified. Don't treat your husband like you would your child. Classic example. If your husband wants to purchase something that you perhaps disagree with, you don't necessarily agree with, let him do it. It's his money. If your husband is driving and he thinks that he needs to take a right turn, and you're pretty sure that the house is on the left that you're going to, unless he asks for your advice, just let him do it. By always commenting, by always doubting his decision, you're showing him that you simply don't trust him. Now, obviously, I'm not suggesting that all wives become completely and totally submissive, but I'm arguing that the general rule should be that they respect their husband's judgment, even if he's wrong, which leads me to my second point. Suppose the wife is with her husband, he's driving, and they're going to their friend's house, and he's going in a certain direction, and she's pretty sure it's another direction, and she wants to comment, you're going wrong, turn left, turn right. So she's becoming now bossy, she's becoming now the one in charge. Well, what if she says, I know he's going in a wrong direction? My second point is, let him learn from his own mistakes and don't become his mother. Suppose that he did make the wrong turn. Well then, guess what? Next time around, he will learn from his mistake and he's not going to make the same mistake. Let me tell you a point of fact. As a man, if I make a mistake, I can only be irritated with myself. I can't be irritated with anybody else. But suppose somebody else told me to turn. Suppose the wife told me to turn and she did turn out to be wrong. Well then obviously this will bring about a great source of irritation. So next time he does make a mistake, don't rub it in. Simply understand that a man will make mistakes and he will learn from those mistakes. This is of the ways of showing your respect, that you don't double guess his judgment. And therefore, this also leads me to another point. Trust his capability in what he attempts to do. Suppose there's a leaky faucet and your husband jumps at the opportunity to be a man, and he brings his wrench from the toolkits, he brings all of the tape and all that's needed, and he's so excited. He's your knight in shining armor coming to rescue the damsel in distress from the leaky faucet. And instead of welcoming your knight in shining armor, you scorn, you laugh, and you sarcastically say, you can't fix a leaky faucet. Why are you going to make things worse? Honey, just call the plumber, please. You see what's happened here? Do you see the problem? a man is trying to help out. Your husband is trying to save the day. But his wife presumes that he has no idea how to do the job. This is humiliating. It's painful. It's deflating to his ego. Basically, you're saying that you don't trust your husband to fix a leaky faucet. If you don't trust him to fix a leaky faucet, how can you trust him to be a real protector, a husband, a father to your children? The bottom line, let him try to fix the leaky faucet. Let him make a fool out of himself, in front of himself. Let him learn from his mistakes. And you know what? Most of the time, I'm pretty sure, most of the time, anything your husband attempts to do will actually be successful, much to your surprise. A man loves to take up a challenge. A man loves to break things apart and put it back together. Believe it or not, most men are not idiots. They can try to solve the problems that they're attempting to do. And if a wife insists on demeaning him, on disrespecting him, on challenging his knowledge and ability, then basically you are making him out to be a fool, making him out to be an unintelligent person, and so you are hurting his ego. Now again, showing respect here means trusting his knowledge, his judgment, and his abilities. Also, one of the ways of showing respect, be respectful in your tone and in your choice of words. One of the main reasons that husbands around the world always complain that their wives are nagging too much. Isn't that common, right? Every culture, every society, the man always says, my wife is just nagging. Well, why is this? That's because a man feels that his wife is disrespecting him. There's a feeling that he's not capable, he's not qualified to do what he's doing, that basically you are treating him like a child. You need to understand, my dear sister in Islam, that for a husband, his list of priorities is not the same as yours. A husband, a man, has other deadlines, other responsibilities. Going back to the example of the leaky faucet. Suppose your husband has been told once, twice, 5 times that there is a leaky faucet, and he's aware of it. Well, you need to realize that there are other things on his agenda. Perhaps he has a major project at work, which has to pay the rent, which is far more important than the leaky faucet. Perhaps he has to spend an afternoon doing another project that he feels is more important. No doubt, the leaky faucet needs to be solved, but there's a time, a place, and most importantly, a tone of voice and a choice of wording that needs to be displayed when a wife will continue to remind her husband of something that needs to be done. And if your husband states his opinion or suggests a plan of action, don't immediately retort back with a sarcastic comeback. Again, I'm not suggesting that wives be servile and docile and submissive, but I am saying that disagreements and alternative views need to be presented within a framework of respect. Also, if you want to respect your husband, never, ever, in any circumstance, crack a joke about him in public, in front of other people, in front of his family and friends. I don't know how else to put this. I'll be as blunt as possible. Men have fragile egos. Men have extremely fragile egos. Call it male pride, call it manliness, but they do not want their wives disrespecting them, dissing them, putting them down in public. Sisters, let me ask you, would you like it if your husband teased you in public, commenting on your appearance, or you might have gained a few pounds or something of that nature? Would you think it was funny if he commented on the fact that your body is now growing old or something? Would you like that? You are very sensitive of this. Realize your husband is sensitive of other issues. For a man, if his wife does not respect him, who else will? Conversely, if his wife respects him, if his wife looks up to him, then he can challenge the world and he can take on the world. So one of the best ways to show the respect for your husband is to praise your husband in front of family and friends. When your husband, whether you do it in front of him or behind his back, so even behind his back, when you're in front of his family, let's say, you say, MashaAllah, Ahmed takes such good care of me and he's this and he's that, it's going to trickle back to him. His brother's going to come back, the mother and father's going to come back. Do you know what that's going to do to a husband when he hears that his wife is praising him? Do you know the love that's going to gush out? Do you know the sympathy that's going to come when he sees that his own wife is praising him? Go ahead, inflate his ego. You're going to reap the benefits of that. And praise him to his face as well. Every man loves to hear that, I'm so proud of you. You did a wonderful job today. After a presentation, after a leaky faucet, whatever it might be, every man loves to stoke that ego, and if his wife is going to look up to him, then he feels the world is going to look up to him. One final point about respect. If you did do something that you feel show disrespect, acknowledge it and say you're sorry. Show your remorse. Show that you want some sympathy. Basically, be a woman, and your husband will be a man who loves you back in return. If you look at our tradition, our ahadith text, it is very clear that our religion demands respect to the husband. And there's a legitimate reason for this. Our Prophet ﷺ said it. All of you know this hadith, and it is a lot of time misused and abused, but that doesn't deny the fact that it is a hadith. Our Prophet ﷺ said that I do not allow anybody to prostrate to another human being. But if I were to allow any human to prostrate to another, I would have commanded the wife to prostrate to her husband. This is a famous hadith, and I want my sisters to understand the basic human psychology behind it. Sisters, if you treat your husbands with respect, your husbands will take care of you, will cherish you, will nourish you, will love you, will comfort you, because that is exactly what a loving and a respectful husband does. Conversely, if you treat him with disrespect, then don't be surprised that he will not treat you the way that you think you should be treated.